Okay, so my outer rule then is, what do we do with that fourth power? We bring it down to the front, good. And we now have to the third power. Okay, no, and then I just put that 3x squared plus 1 in there. I have not changed the inside. I just did the outer rule. And then now I need to multiply by the derivative of what's inside. So, what's the derivative of what's inside? I didn't need that big of a parentheses, did I? Fix that. Okay, so that's the first derivative. So I would write that in front. How could I simplify that then? Good. 24x times 3x squared plus 1 to the third power. Okay, so that's the first derivative. Note sheets are on the front table. Now, this is where it starts to get tricky, because now I asked you also to find the second derivative. Okay? So does anybody know then what would be involved, what other rule is going to be involved for the second derivative, do you think? Ah, you do. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is draw like kind of a little squiggly line here, because that's going to separate my two functions. So this is my first thing, and that's my second thing. Notes are on the front table. Okay, so on this one, part of the difficulty will be the simplification at the end too. So what is the product rule then? First, d second, plus second, d first. So first, I'm going to write 24x. When I'm doing the derivative of the second thing, I have to use chain rule. And so that's what I said becomes confusing when we do chain rule and then it's involved in another thing. Okay, so let's do chain rule. So we are not going to change the inside first. We're going to do the outer rule. What's the outer rule? Something cubed. So when we have something cubed, what do? We bring the 3 down to the front and we change this power to a 2. So I bring my 3 to the front. I do not change my inside at all. I'm just doing the power rule with this parentheses. And then I multiply by the derivative of what's inside. Yep. Okay, now be careful. We got to keep track of where we are. Keep track of where we are. We just did first. This is the first. This is the derivative of the second, correct? Now we need to do second d first. That one's not as hard because the derivative of the first doesn't involve a chain rule. So what's my second thing? My second function, I guess. This entire thing. Times the derivative of the first. What's the derivative of the first? 24. Okay. I'll let you write that down, and then I'm going to kind of code what the things are. So this was my first function. This whole thing was the derivative of the second function. So first, d second. And then this is the second function times the derivative of the first. Okay, so far, any questions then on how I got those things? So now let's see if we can simplify a little bit. Usually when we simplify, we would like these kind of terms to be out in front. So could I put 6x times 3 times 24x out in front? And what is that?
$432x squared.
And then over here I would put this 24 out in front, and I'm going to do something else because I have seen something like this on a multiple choice question before, and I want to show you how they would simplify it further. So I'm going to rewrite this power of 3 as the function squared times the function. So I'm going to rewrite that as 3x squared plus 1 times 3x squared plus 1 squared. I know you don't know why yet. So this is my 24 right here. This is just this rewritten. Does that make sense? Because to have a third power, that means to have 3 factors of it. Does anybody want to guess why I did that?
Solve it as a quadratic.
We're not going to even solve it. I've seen it simplified this way, like I said, on a multiple choice question, so that's why I am simplifying it that way. We think of this as like a common factor. Like it's almost like if I would say to my algebra students, if I had 5 x's plus 6 x's, I have 5 plus 6 x's, right? So what this means is, if I have 432x squared in front of here, plus this in front of here, I can rewrite that as 432x squared plus, can somebody quick do 24 times 3, please? Oh, duh. So I'm adding the 2 terms in front of that like term together. Do you notice anything else that you can simplify? In that first parentheses, can I add anything else together? Yeah, 432x squared plus 72x squared. Can I put that together? Yeah. 504 x squared plus 24 times 3x squared plus 1 squared. Okay,